I have recently started working at a church where I help lead worship services on Sunday morning. And it was like any other Sunday as we were preparing for the service to start. And what this typically looks like is people file in through the front doors as quickly as possible, saying hello, or immediately heading to their seat waiting for the service to begin, or finding their people in the sanctuary and sharing brief conversations. And our responsibility as leaders is to make our rounds of greeting people and saying hello. My job as the newest member on staff is to obviously make my rounds and greet people, but it's also to memorize dozens of faces and names every single Sunday. And on this particular day, I was walking towards the front of the sanctuary when I noticed a man sitting by himself. I didn't even think twice about introducing myself to him. But the conversation that then unfolded after a simple greeting has truthfully changed my life. Now, before I go on with this story, I want to take a moment and welcome you to Between. Between is the most open church on earth. Our church exists in the space between you and every person you encounter this week. The space between us is sacred, and you are welcome here. We welcome and affirm absolutely everyone, no matter your background, no matter your faith tradition, no matter what you've done, who you love, where you come from, what you believe, if you believe, or what anyone else has told you about yourself, you are welcome here. At Between, we are on a mission to build a community of sacred connection. Learn all about us at between.church. Now, somehow, after brief introductions with one another, our conversation quickly escalated as this man told me about his quest for inspiration and faith during the toughest year of his entire life. He went on to share with me that this past year, him and his wife have lost their only 2 adult sons to alcoholism. The hurt that I heard in his voice as he shared with me brought me to tears. The man continued to share with me this struggle of loss in their family and how they're having to rethink everything they do in their lives. Not only do they have to mourn the loss of their children, but they are now left with these gaps of legacy and inheritance. The man mentioned how he loves photography and loves taking photos. But that passion for photography was washed out by this sorrowful insight that he has these photos of his sons that will never be passed down to grandchildren or great-grandchildren. Tears welled up in my eyes as I listened to this man so vulnerably share with me his pain. And in a pastoral position, I had no words of encouragement. In fact, any encouragement seemed quite inappropriate. There's this book in the Bible called Ecclesiastes, and it holds one of my favorite passages of all times. It's a passage about seasons of life that we go through as human beings. And the poetic author writes that there is a time and a season for everything. Seasons for mourning and dancing, times to be laughing, times to be weeping. Seasons of life and death. It's truthfully one of the most beautiful passages that embraces all aspects of the human life. And my absolute favorite verse follows after this long list of the pros and cons of what it means to be human. The author binds it all together by saying, God has made everything beautiful in its time. That God has set eternity on our human hearts, but our minds cannot even fathom what God has done from beginning to end. I love this passage because it reminds me of the joyous fragility of what it means to be human. And in the same sense, this passage grounds me in the mystery and reminds me of the power of surrender. Back to this powerful conversation with this honest, beautiful human being. Him and I finished our conversation and church went on as planned. There were sacred elements of church that day, but to me, the most sacred moment of the church service was the 10 minutes that this man allowed me to listen to his story. I am forever changed by that sacred space between us. Would you join me in the spirit of prayer? Mysterious and majestic God, we cannot quite fathom your works. Quite honestly, we question your works all the time. We rejoice and we suffer, yet we still cannot seem to make sense of it all. The seasons of this earth makes more sense than the seasons of our souls. Guide us into a state of surrender that we may embrace each season fully and never take a single day for granted. Amen. Between is about you. Take this message into your life this week. Fill the space between you and other people with your sacred light. We'd love to share Between with as many people as possible. So there are 3 things that you can do if you found meaning in this message today. First, subscribe to our YouTube channel. Second, follow us on social media for daily messages of hope and connection. Look for us at Today I Pray For You. And third, tell real people about this. Ask them, have you signed up for Between? Tell them to fill out the online form at between.church. My favorite church is the space between people. Now go with God's love and create the church between.